Welcome back to the Commanders Declassified podcast. I'm Brian, not LE. I'm your host tonight. LE's doing some things. He'll be back with us next week. Eric, how are you, man?
I'm here. Unlike some people, I'm ready to work.
That's right. We showed up for work today. We're
That's
here.
right.
So we have the Titans that we've got this Sunday that we're going to talk about tonight. But before we get to the good stuff and talking about what we need to do to get a win, I think we've got to pay some bills, Eric. Do you think you can help us out with getting some of these bills paid?
Yeah, I can bounce you a check, or I can read these here words. I think I'll read the words. How about that?
Sounds good to
So,
me.
all right. Support for the Commanders Declassified podcast is brought to you, as always, by Manscaped, the best in men's below the waist groomings. Their products are precision engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's performance package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer, 20% off and free worldwide shipping. And all you got to do is enter the code CDP11, Charlie Delta Papa, or Commanders Declassified Podcast 11. Now, everybody knows that I am a hairy bastard. Let's not, I don't know if you can see this, but I'm fairly certain there's a Sasquatch in my lineage somewhere. I need this more than anybody. It has really come through for me. Performance Package 4.0. It is a game changer, especially for this hairsuit fella you're looking at right now. Inside the package, you've got the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer, the Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver tonal, Performance Boxer briefs, and a travel bag. First off, the Lawnmower 4.0 is the trimmer and is the future of grooming, and dare I say, the greatest ball trimmer ever. Their fourth generation trimmer features a cutting edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin safe TM technology. And the Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof, has a 4K LED light to help you get a little bit more of a precise shave. This trimmer is waterproof, so you can say goodbye to the mess on the bathroom floor. Make a mess in the shower, for God's sake, like a civilized person. You thought that was great. Well, we want to take the grooming game to an even higher level. We're going to bring you the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer. It's also part of the Performance Package 4.0. It's also waterproof and provides proprietary skin safe TM technology, which helps reduce nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate places that you don't want to nick, snag, or tug. The Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant, Crop Reviver Ball Toner change the way you approach your men's hygiene routine. Trust me when I say this, fellas, your balls and your, well, anybody who gets close to your balls will. Thank you. Manscaped even threw in a couple of free gifts to the Performance Package 4.0. The Manscaped boxers, I'm wearing them right now, and they are comfortable. And that's a true story. And the Shed travel bag. Bring your comfort and boxers to another level. It's time to take care of yourself. So go to manscaped.com, enter the code CDP11, Commanders Declassified Podcast 11. Get 20% off and free worldwide shipping. The 20% off and worldwide shipping only if you enter CDP11 at manscaped.com. The bills are paid.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Now, on to the Titans. We've got a big game here. We're 1-3, and we put up some just stinkers of football games here these last couple of weeks. So I'm going to start it off with, how do we think that the Titans, Mike Vrabel and his Titans, will attack our offense? Mike Vrabel, just to kind of start it off, the Titans have been really good under Mike Vrabel. In a short amount of time, he's turned them into a very competitive football team who has been in contention for the playoffs just about every year under his reign so far. And last year they were in that AFC Championship before Joe Burrow somehow pulled out some magic, and even getting sacked 9 times was still able to get himself to the Super Bowl. So we have our work cut out for us. This is a well-coached team. They're aggressive. They're tough. They're smart. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They're not going to beat themselves, which is something we tend to do here in DC a little bit too much. But in terms of how they're going to attack our offense, their defense doesn't necessarily have a lot of superstars, but they're just very sound. These guys don't blow a lot of assignments. They know where they're supposed to be, and they're there. They make all their adjustments, and they just play really good together. In particular, on that defensive line, though, they do have a stud in defensive tackle, Jeffrey Simmons. That is a guy who can absolutely wreck games. He can destroy your running game, and he can also disrupt your pass game by collapsing the pocket up the middle. So he's somebody we're going to have to pay attention to, and we're going to have a plan for. I know we talked about it on the last several shows. Scott Turner doesn't really game plan the other team's defensive stars. He just kind of lets them walk all over us, abuse us for 4 quarters, and then calls it a day. So we're going to need to do something. Jeffrey Simmons is a good defensive tackle. We're going to be with a backup center on Sunday in Nick Martin and a backup guard in Sadiq Charles. So that's not going to go well. I know the Titans are going to be licking their chops going against those guys. Their star pass rusher, though, Harold Landry, is out with an injury. So that is a little bit of good news. But they also have another pass rusher in outside linebacker Bud Dupree. Some people may remember him from the Steelers. He was a high draft pick there who never kind of panned out, but he has tons of athletic ability and he can absolutely get after the passer. So we don't want him having a career day against us by any stretch of the imagination. So we got to make sure that we pay him a lot of attention as well too, and we know where he is. Their linebackers are solid players. They're not great, but they are smart. They're highly athletic, and I mean they just get the job done, which you can say just about everybody on this Titans defense. Zach Cunningham, inside linebacker, is actually a guy I wanted us to draft a few years ago. He's a tackling machine. He led the NFL in tackles back in 2020 with 163. 2019, he led the AFC in tackles with 137. He knows where the football's going, and he knows how to get there. And he usually, when he gets there, he brings the ball carrier down. So, somebody that we've got to pay attention to. He will be all over the field on Sunday. And then you get to their secondary. Their corners are a little bit on the younger side. They got rookie Roger McCreary, a high draft pick who they expect a lot out of. Christian Fulton is another third-year cornerback there. They've got some youth. They've got some inexperience at cornerback. We can certainly try to take advantage of that with our wide receivers and with some of the different matchups we can put on them. But we do need to be careful with their safety, Kevin Baird. He is a Pro Bowler. He's excellent. He is what you call a ball hawk at the safety position. He has a ton of interceptions, and he's regarded as one of the better safeties in the league. So he's the veteran of that group, and he will get everybody lined up in the back end, and he knows what offenses are trying to do to him in the pass game. So we've got to pay attention to him. If we take any deep shots, we can't just throw it up there Carson Wentz style and hope that we can come down with it, because he will come down with it. So we've got to make sure that if we do attack deep, we've got a good play call, good throw. We've got time to throw on there. But, the Titans, they're going to try to play physical with our receivers on the outside, get pressure up the middle with Jeffrey Simmons, and they're going to force us to make the mistakes. They're a team that isn't going to make mistakes, so they're going to try to force us into those mistakes. Unfortunately, we've been making a lot of mistakes these last couple of weeks, so we've got to make sure we don't fall into that trap, and we are able to run the football, get the football out quickly with the quick passing game. This would be a big game for J.D. McKissick. Jahan Dotson may be out, so maybe we can, use Curtis Samuel in that quick passing game. But I think that's how they're going to attack us. Eric, do you want to kind of tell us what, how they'll kind of attack us on the other side of the football?
Yeah, Tennessee's, I like what you said about Mike Vrabel. He's actually kind of what we were hoping to get with Ron Rivera. I think Ron Rivera is like the Wish version of Mike Vrabel. I mean, he's coaches exactly the kind of team that Ron said he was going to give us. And we're not actually getting that. Also, Amani Hooker is really good. He's another great safety. He gets Kevin Byard overshadows him a little bit, but he's awesome too. So offensively, I mean, Tennessee is they're going to do what they do. They're really good, and they don't change their game plan for anybody. They're going to, you know what they're going to do. They're going to pound the rock. They've got Derrick Henry at running back. They've got Hassan Haskins backing him up, who all of us wanted, to draft in the spring. We all had him in our mock drafts, but he's seen some ramped up action. But it's going to be a heavy dose of Derrick Henry. Ryan Tannehill is going to spread the ball around. He hits a lot of different receivers, although Treylon Burks is out this week, which could benefit us. But we still can't really cover anybody, so I'm not sure. But, a lot of guys, they spread the ball around. Robert Woods, former Ram, has 13 catches this year. He's their leader. And they throw a lot to the running backs. They have Austin Hooper at tight end, who's kind of bounced around the league later a few years, but he's been a pretty productive tight end and stops in Atlanta and Cleveland. But really, it's about running the football, and it's about basically picking their spots in the passing game. And Tannehill is in that middle tier of NFL quarterbacks where he's not going to shred you, but he is good enough to beat you if everything is working. And when Derrick Henry's on, who for Derrick Henry, he's only got 360 yards in 4 games. That's a little bit of a down year for him, but for anybody else, it's a pretty good season. So yeah, that's how they're going to attack us. They're going to pound the rock. They're going to do what they do every week, and they're going to sprinkle in some passes. And their ideal game plan is for to have 185 yards on the ground and 185 yards in the air. And that's what they do, and they're just going to bore you to death. And it's a tough task to stop. Unless it's the playoffs, then you can stop them easily. But unfortunately, we're in week 4, and this is not the playoffs.
Yeah, and you make a great point about the Titans and what they want to do. The Titans know exactly who they are. They don't try to pretend to be a spread team and they're going to do all of these different formations. No, they're just going to run the football right down your throat, and they're going to keep doing it until you fold and make mistakes, and then they're really going to jump on you from there. And I think, for us in this defense, when you're going up against a big running back, you can't let him get a head of steam, because if he gets to the line of scrimmage, he can just fall forward for 5 yards each time. We're going to need to get penetration in the run game and stop him before he gets to the line of scrimmage. Get some penetration, get some tackles for loss. This would be a great game for Jamin Davis. We continue to use him as a blitzer. We continue to use him near the line of scrimmage. We already know Jamin Davis has his issues dropping back into coverage. Well, don't do that. Keep him going forward. He had some really good tackles in the run game this past week and the week before against the Eagles as well, too. We need more of that. So keep Jamin moving forward and stop Derrick Henry before he gets that head of steam, because once he gets that head of steam, he's going to knock out 3 or 4 of our linebackers and DBs en route to a 20-yard run or a 15-yard run. So we really got to kind of corral him before he gets to that line of scrimmage, and we've got to do it with all of our guys, right? It's got to be a gang tackle when we get there. We can't just ask one guy to bring him down. He's just too big.
Yeah, and that's pretty much everybody knows how to do it, but knowing how to do it and doing it are 2 different things. And Tennessee's really good at what they do, and Derrick Henry is especially great at what he does. They've got a pretty solid offensive line in Tennessee, so it is going to be a challenge. Our defensive line, played really well against Dallas last week. That was one of the bright spots of the game. So the ability to do it is there, but you're just going to get a heavy dose of running game. And yeah, you're absolutely right, though. You have to focus on him, because the key to winning this game is to make Ryan Tannehill throw it 40 times. If you can do that, you've got a good chance at winning, even with our secondary. So yeah, I definitely believe that we need to attack. We need to be an attack a lot of run blitzing, I guess would be the way to say it. We need to really attack their offense. And just hitting our gaps, keeping our assignments, and almost, like I said, you're going to bring that extra guy into the box and just hope your corners can hold up against their backup wide receivers for the most part.
Yeah, absolutely. This will be a game where we see if Ron's Buffalo nickel is actually a thing, or if it's or if he's full of it. Because this is we're going to need all hands on deck to stop this rushing attack. So, Eric, I think this kind of plays into kind of our 3 ways to win, 3 ways to lose portion of the show, and tell everybody kind of the 3 ways that the Commanders can pull out a victory against the emerging Tennessee Titans, because they started out the season kind of rough, and these last 2 games they've starting to find their groove now.
Yep. 3 ways to win, really similar to what it was last week. You have to get Carson Wentz into a rhythm by protecting him and getting him quick passes, preferably like not just quick outs or whatever, but actually like use the passing game as a weapon instead of just trying to get it to somebody and tell them to break a bunch of tackles. But we need to get into a nice play calling rhythm and a nice passing rhythm for Carson Wentz. We need to keep him upright as much as possible. We shall see if our offensive line can hold up with that. I believe we're down Sam Cosmi again. And we're definitely not getting Chase Roulier back for the rest of the year. So, so we have to get Carson Wentz into a rhythm. We have to stop their run game. You said it earlier. I mean, you have to focus on stopping Derrick Henry, Hassan Haskins, and whoever else they run the ball with. That's the bread and butter of our offense. That's what it takes to do it. And the way to do that is you got to get points on the board early, preferably a 2-score lead at least, and do everything you can to take them out of what they want to do. Because if they get into a rhythm of doing what they want to do, we're going to be done. We're just not going to be able to stop it. Our defensive line and linebackers aren't going to be able to withstand the barrage of rushes from Derrick Henry the entire game. We have to put it on Ryan Tannehill to win and then just take our chances. So, yeah, get Wentz into a rhythm, start fast, get some points on the board, and most importantly, stop that run. How are we going to lose this game, Brian? Tell me 3 ways that we blow this game. Yes, please just limit it to 3.
Well, the first way, and this may seem silly, but it is something that we've had an issue with, or at least our coaching staff, is we can't be stubborn to what we've been doing these last several weeks. Our coaching staff is notorious for being slow to change, slow to adapt, and slow to kind of change to what the opposing teams are doing. We can't continue to do that. If we come back with the same game plans, it's over. Mark it an L on Sunday, because that will not work. So throw out the things that you've been kind of relying on as what you want to do, because very clearly they have not been working. Come up with something different, something new, something that the other team has not seen. So that's the first way that we lose, is that we're stubborn and we just keep doing what we've been doing. The second way to lose, we've talked about it kind of this whole time, which is we're not sound in the run game. We have to play assignment football. If there was ever a time to play assignment, now is the time, because we have to be able to corral Derrick Henry, and it's not going to be just one guy, right? We can't just put Jamin on him, or Jonathan Allen, or Montez. We need all of those guys, and we need all of the secondary guys to come up as well and be a part of these tackles. So everybody's going to have to be disciplined, play, stay in their gaps, their lanes, and they've got to be good, solid tackles. Otherwise, Derrick Henry will put you on a poster, like he did. I think it was Josh Norman, where he stiff-armed him, and Josh Norman just kind of flew through the air when he was in Buffalo. And nobody wants that. Nobody wants to be a poster or be a highlight. So, if we're not sound, that's number 2. And number 3 is we've got to take advantage of what the Titans will give us, or any opportunity when we have the ball on offense. We have to score points. You have to score points. If we fall behind in this football game, 22-0 in the first half, 22-0, 17-0, whatever it is, if we fall behind, we will lose. So we've got to score points. We cannot fall behind. If we fall behind, that is a surefire way for us to lose, because it's just too hard to come back. And the Tennessee Titans are a sound football team. It's going to be very difficult to try to come back on them. So those are my kind of 3 ways to lose. And hopefully the team kind of takes to heart, these last couple of losses, and make some of those changes. What do you think, Eric? Do you have are there some other things there that this team could do to kind of lose this game as well too?
Yeah, have another screenshot of 2 offensive linemen blocking each other this week would be a good start to losing the game.
How awful was that? How bad was
the worst? I saw it when they replayed. I was so surprised nobody on the broadcast said anything when they like freeze framed on it. I was like, oh, are you kidding me? This is And that's the good half of the offensive line too. That's the left side. So that was bad. But yeah, I mean, pass protection. I mean, the book is out on this offense, and they know that they're going to send a lot of pressure at Carson Wentz. Not necessarily blitzing, because our offensive line can't withstand a 3-man rush half of the time. But they're going to get after him, and they're going to make him uncomfortable in the pocket and make him force throws. They're going to force him they're going to make him inaccurate because when he gets skittish in the pocket, he gets inaccurate. So if we cannot figure out a way to protect him for that offensive line to hold up, I don't know how we win. It was just, we can't have a slow first half where we go 3 and out every time. We have to get we have to get our quarterback protected because there's no doubt about how to stop this offense, and that's it all starts with pressure on the quarterback, and we can't effectively run the ball out of a deep sack because Brian Robinson, I think they started the clock on bringing him back. I don't think he's going to be active this week.
I was just going to ask you about that. Yeah, they activated him, and they've got a 21-day window before they have to decide when he can play.
Yeah.
I mean, they could decide he can play this Sunday, or they could decide, in 3 weeks or maybe not 3 weeks, 2 weeks, that he can play. So let me ask you about Brian Robinson. Do you think it's realistic that he could play this Sunday, or do you think he's still probably another week or two out?
I mean, I think it's unbelievable that we're even talking about this after he got shot twice. So, anything's possible. But for somebody who, it just depends on where he is in his recovery. I mean, he looked great running those routes a couple weeks ago, and the little clips that we've seen here and there. I mean, he looks like he's sound, but I mean, a lot goes into playing running back in the NFL.
Yeah.
So, it'd be great if he could play this weekend, but I don't think it's something that, anybody should count on being that he's, 4 weeks, 5 weeks removed from getting shot, in the leg. He could be a game changer for the offense because he can give us that single back that you can actually have a real running game and not just hand it off from the shotgun, even though that's probably what Scott will try to do with him. But he, when we saw him in the preseason, I mean, he was that, 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, 2 tight end guy that they ran that formation and they ran out of it and he had success. So if that's a wrinkle, which, I mean, honestly, a basic running play shouldn't be a wrinkle in your offense, but here we are. I mean, but if that's something that we can add, that's definitely a weapon because that sort of running game really does open up the play action. If you can get, churn out some yards on that. And we, outside of Jonathan Williams, who they don't want to play for whatever reason, we don't have a running back that can really do that. So, I would love to see that. I would love to see Brian in there. I would love to see Jonathan in there. Just getting some carries and getting that look so that is an effective formation that you can run a play action and get a deep shot off of if they have to respect that run, So I would love to see Robinson back this week.
Agreed.
And hopefully we do, but I'm not ready to count on it just yet.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it's probably still too early for him to be back on Sunday. I know Ron at the press conference today hinted at that it was a possibility, not that it would be, but he wouldn't rule it out. But I agree with you that when he does come back, Scott Turner has this weird thing about guys that he trusts and guys that he doesn't trust. When he trusts you, he'll play you. And we saw pretty quickly in training camp in the preseason that Brian Robinson got carries. Brian Robinson got a lot of carries or touches or was just playing time in the game. Whereas when he doesn't trust you, maybe it's like a Jonathan Williams, and I don't know if trust is the right word, but Jonathan Williams, for whatever reason, just doesn't get the carries. Cam Sims, for whatever reason, just doesn't get the snaps that some of the other guys get. So maybe it's a good thing that when he comes back, Turner trusts him, and he will hand him the football a little bit more than what he's doing right now with either Williams or even Gibson. So I'm looking forward to him coming back because I think he'll have a huge impact on this offense, especially between the tackles, to give us a little bit more physicality because I don't think we're a very physical team, and I don't think teams kind of respect us in that way in terms of being physical. So I'm excited for whenever it is, whether or not it is this Sunday. Let me ask you this, something that we saw today again as well. It was reported that Chase Roulier, he had his surgery today, and the Commanders took his salary or a lot of his salary and converted it to signing bonus so that it could free up some cap space because it sounds like they wanted to bring some more bodies in. So what do you think about that kind of move here at this point in the season?
Well, hopefully one of those bodies is named Eric Flowers. I mean, that's my first person I thought of when I saw that news is, there's just no excuse that guy's still sitting on the couch unless he's just doesn't want to pick up the phone for us, which I wouldn't blame him at this point since, they've cut him twice now. And failed to replace him both times. So yeah, I would do that. Yeah, it definitely. I can't imagine that they're not looking for help along the offensive line with all the injuries, with Cosme out now, with Schweitzer still recovering from his concussion, um, and with Rouillet out for the season. Obviously, offensive line is a need. Maybe they can find a corner on the scrap heap that can cover somebody.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, offensive line is the first thing I thought of, and obviously Eric Flowers is that first guy that I thought of because he knows the system. He's been here. The only caveat is that, of course, he plays left guard, which Andrew Norwell has not been great at, but I mean that's his position. So I don't know if they can slide him over to the right. One thing I thought before Cosme got hurt was, I mean, I wonder if they've given any thought to letting Cosme play guard and letting what's his name, the backup,
Cornelius Lucas.
Cornelius Lucas play right tackle. That seems like it might be. I don't know how hard it is to switch to guard in the middle of the season, but I mean, Cosme's not going to done a tackle, so maybe he could take his hand recovery time to learn how to play in the phone booth.
With Matsko and Ron's favorite term, position flex. I do know that during training camp, Cosme did get reps at guard.
Yeah.
Was it a lot of reps? I don't know. I don't believe it was a lot. Because they probably, planned on him starting at right tackle all year. So, but he did get some reps there. So, that's certainly possible. And, hey, if he keeps getting penalties and things like that, he may have to, the way it's looking like it will go. So, absolutely now. And then we can't even move Cosme into guard now because he's going to be out. So we're hopefully that Cornelius Lucas, plays well and Sadiq plays well. But let me something else that I saw, and this more affects the game. You mentioned it at the beginning. Treylon Burks, rookie. I know we talked to his agent in the offseason about Treylon. Who do you think that the Titans are going to go to? Obviously, they're going to run the entire time or most of the time. But, I mean, is it really Robert Woods, kind of the aging veteran? I know he's a crafty veteran, right? He knows how to find those soft spots in zone defense. He knows the routes that he can use to kind of get separation. But is he really kind of a threat to go off on Sunday?
I mean, I don't know. They don't really have any go-to in their receiving game. I mean, their leading receiver has 13 catches.
Right.
Treylon Burks had 10. And then, the Hollister is the next wide receiver with a single catch. So I would look for, obviously, Robert Woods will be that guy who, probably will get the bulk of the targets. But they throw a lot to their wide receivers. The tight ends. So, yeah, I mean, Treylon Burks being out helps us, but I don't know how much it helps us because they don't, really, he's got 16 targets in 4 games. So he gets 4 targets a game.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe he takes a little bit of that heat off Robert Woods. I don't know if somebody else can do that, but there are quite a few options in the passing game because, they are a kind of a boring offense. So you're going to see a lot of running back swing passes, a lot of checkdowns and that sort of thing. And the tight ends could also be a factor. But again, they're not really a passing team in general. So, obviously the lacking any weapon is a plus for us, but I just don't, he hasn't had that much of an effect. I don't believe he scored a touchdown yet this year. So, at least he won't get his first one against us. I think it's next man up mentality from the receiving core, because they're going to use the passing game somewhat sparingly, as sparingly as you can get in the NFL. So I'm glad Treylon's not in, but I'm sure he won't be missed that much.
Right. No, I agree with you completely on that. Let's stay with wide receiver on our team. Jahan Dotson, hamstring, kind of came out of nowhere this after the game that he's got this hamstring. Apparently it's not that serious, maybe 1 or 2 weeks, but we're not going to have him. He's been really good in the red zone. Kind of who fills that spot for us, for the Commanders?
Yeah. Is it going to be Cam Sims or De'Ami Brown? We had a De'Ami sighting. He was actually on the field last week, so that's a plus. Yeah. He didn't do anything, as per usual.
Yeah, exactly.
My choice would be Cam Sims, but, who knows what this coaching staff is going to do. Obviously, yeah, Jahan has been, money in the red zone and on the 2-point conversions. So, that is a bit of a loss because, his hands are much more reliable than De'Ami Brown's hands for sure.
Wow.
And Cam Sims they don't, for whatever reason, don't want to throw to him. So I would like to see Cam Sims get the carries because he's more proven, battle tested.
Yep.
Dommy Brown has kind of come up short in a lot of situations, in his short NFL career. So hopefully he gets better. I'm not ready to trust him yet, but I'm not one of these coaches calling the plays.
Yeah, I would hope, Scott Turner has preached, I want all of these kind of smaller wide receivers. They're interchangeable. I can move this guy in, out. Hopefully we see Curtis Samuel kind of step up into that role, and then maybe J.D. McKissick can kind of take that Curtis Samuel role and catch some of these intermediate passes and some of these jet sweeps, reverse type things there. I think that may be a way to kind of fill some of that Jahan void and still, give us the ability to get some mismatches against the linebackers of Tennessee as well. You said something at the beginning. I got to touch on this because I thought this was a great point. Mike Vrabel. Mike, you mentioned Mike Vrabel as the kind of tough, no nonsense, smart former player, head coach, and that Ron Rivera was that's kind of what he sold himself as, and we haven't quite got that. That can you go into a little bit more on that? Because when you said that, I was like, damn it, yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. It's just the end of the stick that this team generally gets. It's just all the things that Ron Rivera said coming in and that we knew about his teams is that we're going to fight till the last second. We're going to be tough. We're going to have an identity of running the football. We're going to play good defense. You're going to know you played us. You're going to feel it. And, that's what Mike Vrabel does, and actions speak louder than words. I don't know what Ron Rivera wants to be anymore because the identity of this football team does not line up with what he has portrayed thus far. We're very much a finesse offense, and we are an extremely soft defense for the most part, especially on the back end.
Yeah.
I think with the exception of guys like John Allen, Daron Payne, they're going to come and give you 100% every time, and they're going to smack you, and you're going to know you played them. They're going to have an impact. I don't see that from the rest of the defense. I say that sitting in the comfort of my office, not having to go out there every Sunday and fight off 300-pound men. So I'm not going to call a defense soft, but I just don't see the hard-nosed tendencies that Ron Rivera says that he preaches. And I would like to, because that's the kind of Mike Vrabel's Titans team. At least in the regular season, is the team that I would like to see here in DC. That's the kind of attitude, and I think most of us would. That's the kind of team that we've been hoping for a long time, and we just haven't received it. And we were kind of sold the bill of goods thus far with Ron.
Yeah, Vrabel's teams have a very intimidating presence about them. Like, they're going to come and hit you and knock you out, and it's going to be 4 quarters of that. And to your point, we haven't got that here with Ron. We've heard talk of that, but we just haven't seen that. And Ellie points out all the time, our linebackers, Cole Holcomb, he'll make the tackle, but he'll get dragged 5 yards in making that tackle. And as a defense, you want to hit somebody, you want them going backwards, you want them feeling it, you want them scared to run the ball or catch that pass over the middle. And that certainly hasn't been the case with us. But no, that was a great point. A couple other things here before we wrap up. I thought this was hilarious. I sent this to you guys today. But apparently it's being reported, a rumor. I think Peter King of NBC Sports, I think that's what he is, had reported that the Colts owner, Jim Irsay, is short leash with Frank Reich and that coaching staff there, and the quarterback as well, too. And I just found that hilarious because he went on a summer-long tour of making Carson Wentz out to be a giant villain.
Yeah, I wish I knew what it was like to be a fan of a team that was constantly kneecapped by bad ownership. I don't know. I really feel for Colts fans. I don't understand how they get through it. No, we feel your pain, guys. I mean, Irsay.
Yeah.
Not that Carson Wentz obviously is setting the league on fire, but this Colts team is, continue to, and I don't know if it's Irsay or Ballard, but they continue to just go the retread route with quarterback and hiring guys or finding guys that are old and washed. And on their, like Phillip Rivers a couple of years ago, Carson Wentz, last year, not old, but obviously it's seen better days. Matt Ryan this year, who again, I have always stumped. I always wanted him here. Maybe I was wrong. I want 2018 Matt Ryan here, not 2022 Matt Ryan. May not be the same deal.
I would have loved to draft Matt Ryan. That would have been better. That would have been awesome.
Yeah. I don't know who he drafted that year. I think it was like LaRon Landry or some nonsense.
Yes.
But he was gone by the time we picked, I'm pretty sure. So good for the Colts. They're reaping the benefits of the bad ownership, just as we are. Even though I don't know how bad of it, like where Irsay's standing is among league owners, but he's certainly not making his employees' life easy. That's for sure. No,
I found it hilarious that as loudly as he proclaimed that he had a playoff team, and it's still early, right? Mm-hmm. They may turn it around and they may make the playoffs, but to have proclaimed as loudly as he have that this one guy was the issue, we got that guy out, we found the right guy, we traded for the right guy, and it's all going to be smooth sailing and have it kind of go the way it did for them to start the season here. To me, I just, hey, you get what you get, right? And to me, that's karma, and I enjoyed it. I thought that was hilarious. So again, I think you're right. I feel for the Colts fans. We know exactly what kind of the meddlesome ownership can do and can cause. But I saw that and I had to text it to you guys, as I thought that was hilarious. So.
It's only week 4. That's the best part. Or week 5. He's already sick of this crew.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice to know that other teams experience that, and it's not just us.
Yeah, exactly.
LE sent us something, and this is really for you guys. You guys are the OGs of this podcast. You guys were nice enough to let me come on here and run my mouth for a few minutes each week with you guys. So I appreciate that. But LE said last episode, and we forgot to do this, it was our 100th episode. Is that right?
Yeah, well, the 100th episode, it's only fitting that would be after all humiliating loss to the Dallas Cowboys, and we weren't in the mood to celebrate. Let's just chalk it up to that.
Yeah.
I didn't really want to pat myself on the back after just, getting curb stomped.
Very true. Very true. But hats off to Ellie. Hats off to you as well. You guys have put together an awesome podcast, and I appreciate you allowing me to be on it. But man, 100 episodes, that's pretty big. That's pretty big. Not too many podcasts last that long. To be in year 3 now, season 3 of the show and 100 episodes. Hats off to you guys.
Well, don't sell yourself short now, because you've been a big part of this as well. You've got a huge social media presence, which everyone may or may not know that I may not have that. So without you pushing the show, I don't think our viewership would have grown nearly as much as it has. And I like to think of us as like we're Cheers. Ellie and I were Cheers, and then like you're Frasier. Like when Frasier came on, Cheers just got like way better. So that's an old man reference. I'm sorry. Somebody in this crew will get it. But like you made this show. I don't know if I don't really watch great shows anymore. So
just YouTube it. Actually, they're supposed to be making.
You're Andy on The Office. There you go. We're The Office, and you're Andy. You come in season 3 and improve the show. So
I was gonna say you're right about Frasier, because I want to say I read not too long ago they're supposed to be doing a remake of his Frasier show, like a new one or something like that.
Yeah, is Kelsey Grammer going to be on it? At
least? Yes.
Okay, good. So it's not like
years later
what they did with Quantum Leap, and they just completely recast it. That's good.
Yeah, no, it's he's supposed to be on it, and like years later, the show will pick up. But anyways, enough sitcom talk.
Sitcoms on that. Declassified.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so predictions: who's going to win? Commanders, Titans. Eric, who do you got this weekend?
I'm going to go ahead and be a negative Nancy. I'm going to take the Titans, and I'm going to say 23-10 Titans. It's going to be a slogfest. Yeah. Probably not a very entertaining game, and I think I'm not ready to commit to this team improving. So I'm afraid it will be more of the same ineffective offense for us, and they will just wear us down. And so we'll go 23-10.
23-10. No, absolutely. It's going to be tough because the Titans are feeling themselves now. These last two games, they've kind of righted the ship, and they're kind of finding that groove. So, I'm going to give Ellie. Ellie texted us with his pick since he couldn't be here tonight with us. He went close game, 28-26. Titans. He did go with the Tennessee Titans. I think he was kind of thinking similar lines to like you. Obviously it's going to be run heavy from the Titans, and I think he thinks that Robert Woods is going to get some
Yeah.
attention, get some.
Robert Woods going crazy is his text. I just read it.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
Pick him up in fantasy this week.
Yeah, direct quote. All right, so I went a little different way here. This was a little bit of a tumult. I mean, the week's not over yet. It's still actually early in the week. This has began as a little bit of a tumultuous week here for Ron Rivera. We heard Ron Rivera use curse words in a press conference responding to media members' questions. He got a little frustrated. So you can absolutely see the kind of frustration, the embarrassment from Ron Rivera, and I think that falls down to the players as well too. They've really been humbled, and I believe we saw some signs that the defense made some strides, but we need to see some signs that the offense is doing the same. And I think this is the week that it happens. I think this is the opponent, that it's going to happen for. They're missing their star wide receiver, and they are a very one-dimensional team. But that one dimension is excellent. It's really good. But I think it's going to be Commanders 26, Titans 21, and we right the ship a little bit, and we get in the win column. 26.
Well, I like your prediction. I don't see how it happens, but I like your prediction.
Oh, well, I hope it turns out. And this is, I predicted that we would win this game during when we did the schedule. So I'm sticking with it. I had a bad taste in my mouth from being right about the Dallas Cowboys winning. I don't want to do that again. So I'm picking that we win this weekend. Eric, final thoughts, other thoughts about the Commanders this week and what they've got Sunday.
I'm trying really hard to get excited for this game. Honestly, I was checking to see if it was a home game before this podcast even started. That's how unexcited I am about watching this team play. So this is hopefully things turn around, or this is going to be a horrible year. I'm going to look like a corpse by the end of the season. So please get better, Commanders. Please, for my sake, just do better. And here's to 100 more episodes at least.
Absolutely. Cheers to that. My final thoughts. I just mentioned it a second ago. Ron Rivera cursed in the press conference. Not something that we see that I don't think we've ever seen Ron curse in a press conference. I don't think most coaches curse. Maybe, sure, there may be a big blow up at a press conference every now and again, but not typical. And in his kind of diatribe that he had, he was talking about he understands the fans' frustration, and and my thought was, Ron, I don't want to hear you curse. Show me that you understand the fans' frustration by changing your game plan. Show me that you understand by taking advantage of the defense's weaknesses, of the offense's weaknesses of the opposing team. Show me that you understand by holding these guys accountable, by not having all of these penalties, by being prepared. That's how you show me that you understand our frustration. I don't want to hear you curse. That does nothing for me. I need to see improvement. I need to see that you're willing to change, that you're willing to adapt. So, Ron Rivera, you can save the curse words, but please show me a little bit more in your process leading up to the game, because the product that I'm seeing on Sunday isn't good enough, and I hope it gets better this Sunday, because we need it. We need to get that win on Sunday. So, and yes, to what Eric said, awesome 100 episodes for you guys, and to 100 more. Everybody, if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. We can be found on all audio platforms: Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon Prime. all of those things you can find us on. Please subscribe, hit notifications, and if you can, leave us a 5-star review. It only takes 1 or 2 lines. That helps us. It helps us grow as a podcast and reach out to others, Commanders fans around the world. Check out our website, wftdeclassified.com. I've got some articles up there about the post game of each of the games. I'm going to have some new videos coming out soon. I think Eric and LE will be putting some new stuff on there as well too. So go check it out. We've got videos. We've got interviews. There's interviews on there that are not available on audio. We interview NFL agents. We interview analytics people. So go check that out. That's all on the website. And then go check out our YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, comment, notify, all those things on the YouTube channel if you want to see Eric's beautiful face every week.
Who doesn't? Let's be honest. Who doesn't want to?
Exactly.
Most people.
Everybody, thank you. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next week.